That's why he came to teach Bhagavad Gita. All the avatars came for a purpose. So the name has meaning. Similarly, when you look at the form, you go beyond it, understand the meaning behind it. That is the Nirguna aspect of that particular cosmic deity. And without the Saguna, it's difficult. At least I cannot. Any abstract form, concentrating itself is difficult. But here we have a form, we have a story behind it, and we have. That's why they say in Patanjali's yoga, it says Yama, Niyama, then only comes Asana, Pranayama, Pratihara, concentration, Samadhi, and all that. The reason is Yama, Niyama, that is what we are discussing. The story, the mythology, all this mythological story. So Yama, Niyama. Hear this and know that, and then try to go beyond the stories. Don't stick to it. Unfortunately, most of us, we stick to the story as a literal truth. They are, but they're very meaningful. So Mahasaraswati is the embodiment of all the wisdom. So today, you know the importance because we installed her. You will be able to see her once we complete Rajagopura, hopefully by June, July time frame. During Uttarayanam, I would like to stay, but we have a lot of work to do. We continue to work during the winter, and hopefully we'll complete. And that will be one of a kind in the world, because 330 million cosmic energy. That's what the number of gods we have in Hindu tradition. But she narrowed them into 450 categories, and so all the cosmic energy, known or unknown, will be represented. So when you look at it and think of Divine Mother, you will imbibe that energy. That's the reason why we are building. We cannot give 450 Sannidhanams here, but we can put it in the Rajagopura. That is not just for us. That is for the world to go through the major difficult period that the world is going through. But she will protect us. But that is needed to be done. And we participate in that. So how fortunate can we be? In that endeavor, we are the participant. So please participate and sponsor. There are a list of devatas. You will have Ishta Devata based on your astrological chart or your family. They will know. You can sponsor them. And once you connect, again, if you look at it logically, if you feel so affectionate, so much reverence on the deity, and you think of the deity, you'll definitely receive from the deity. It basically goes back to receptivity. And receptivity goes very high when you do the sponsorship. Again, going back to fundamental tenet, all the religion is sacrifice. If you look at any religion, Christianity, Islam, Mormonism, Hinduism, sacrifice becomes tyaga. Tyaga is a very important aspect. The reason is, divine doesn't need anything from us. There are almost 500, 600 billion stars in our small galaxy. It used to be 100 billion, 200 billion, now it's almost 3/4 trillion of, they'll find more and more in our galaxy. There are hundreds of billions of galaxies. And on top of it is another Brahman. On top of it, she's the reason for all that. So she doesn't need anything from us. But we need the wisdom, we need the energy, we need the grace, so that we can know who we are. The self-realization, the sattvic end point of life, from tamasic to rajasic to sattvic. And she's the embodiment of sattva. And today, Vasantha Panchami, again, it's very interesting. Vasant is actually a deity. Panchami is tomorrow. That's the beginning of spring. And Vasant actually is a personification of spring. That's the meaning of Vasant. Panchami is the day, the fifth aspect, that is tomorrow. So Vasant Panchami starts spring. You personify spring. See, all our deities are personification of certain emotions. All our deities, they're personification. She's a personification of origin, Parashakti. So Vasant is the personification of springtime. And Panchami is the day it starts. So Vasant Panchami. Interestingly, one deity all of us avoid because we are not taught about the deity. He has a Pamrat because Shiva burnt him. Manmata. Manmata is a great soul. He's a deity, Manmata. And next to Manmata stands Vasant. Vasant is close ally of Manmata. Again, they are not human. There is no form. It's emotions. And Manmata represents, he has two Shaktis. Prati and Riti. Prati is love. Riti is pressure. Yeah, pressure would be the closest you can say. So love and pressure, that is Manmata. So mythology is, he tried to make Shiva is a renunciate. And Brahma and Vishnu wanted him to be, to go through samsara. He can't be destroying, dissolving everything Brahma creates. So they wanted him to feel it. So they sent Manvanta. And what happens? He wakes up from the deep, intense meditation of dissolving many universes, and he burns it. But that's the story. Is Manvanta gone? No. As soon as it happened, Shakti, Parvati, goes away as Kamakshi, and she says, I would not see you because my son, my aspect, Manvanta, you destroy. Without that, there can't be any world. If you don't have love and pressure, you won't have a family, there won't be children, there won't be life of any organism. You need that love and pressure to attract you, to make it create. So that's the story behind Kanjivaram, the Kamakshi temple. You won't see Shiva there, you will see only Kamakshi. The reason is she went and stood there, she would not meet Shiva. And Shiva panged. He panged, you know the word pang. He missed his concert. And the minute he felt that emotion, Manvanta came alive. Has to be. And that emotion is Manvanta. It's a beautiful concept. So Manvanta is a very important. And that is a very Gayatri. Ka yi alahrim, hasaka alahrim, saka alahrim. The Ka is Manvanta's Bisha. There's a beginning, Kamakshi Devi. So first deity we install is Kamakshi. The creation, and there's a deep meaning behind it. So that Bija, the Ka Bija is Manvata's. The Ha, H, Asaka, H is Agastya Maharishi gave life to that H Bija. So each Bija, Devata, come alive because of one seer. So Manvanta is very important. And how he's connected to Vasantha Panchami is because his aspect, one of the aspects is Vasant. And Vasant is the personification of spring. So that is tomorrow. Technically, Panchami starts tomorrow. We did it today. So Vasantha Panchami. And Vasant is a deity or cosmic being, which is a personification of spring. It's a very important concept. Every deity, every gods you worship, they are the personification of that. Like Kartikeya, the personification of the defense, destroying evil in you. So each one of them is a personification. So it's a beautiful concept. So 330 million gods, do you have them? I don't know, probably, because it says that many aspects of creation, that much of motion, that much of aspect, but we can't possibly even imagine that many. So she has made it easy for us. Gave 450. 450 is very difficult because I knew 30 maybe. And she said, I want all my aspects placed here for world protection. So that is the reason for the Gopram. Some of you may wonder why you need the Gopram. You have beautiful temple, Mother's Manifest, all the Shanmata. There are 6 aspects of Hinduism. Adi Shankara designed it. And, Hinduism was going rapidly downhill. Because Jainism and Buddhism are very strong. The many Siddhas who had metaphysical power. So many kings became Buddhists and Jains, and Hinduism was rapidly going down because it is so convoluted. The way it was explained to people, it became actually meaningless. They gave too much importance to the rituals which no one understood. Rituals are very important. A religion has to have mythology, philosophy, and rituals. Every religion has it. But in our tradition, we are very rich in rituals. But we miss the fundamental reason for the ritual. Then ritual becomes useless and becomes superstition and useless. So Hinduism was like that. So much convolution, so much of separation, so much of injustice, so much of violence because of sacrifice. They were doing animal sacrifices and things like that. They were rapidly going down, and then Shankara came. Great soul Adi Shankara. So he codified 6 aspects, like Shaivism, Vaishnavism, Shaktism, Kaumar is Subramanya, then Sauram. Sauram is sun god. Sun is very important. That's why we have sun god with beautiful chariot down there, you see. We took him in a position because sun with the 7 planets. Sun is visible god would be only sun. That aspect only is visible among the Prakriti. What is visible among gods is Surya. So we call him Surya Narayana. He is the embodiment of Mahavishnu in our solar system. So naturally we can relate to it easier than something unseen. But we relate to unseen, but in a physical level, sun is a nurturing. The simple physical existence of us depends on sun. But more than that, Surya Narayana is not just a physical nuclear furnace which is giving us all the rays. No, that is just a physical maintenance. But there is a consciousness of sun. That is Surya Narayana. That consciousness is a spark of Divine Mother. So there is 700 billion suns in our galaxy. There are 300-400 billion galaxies. So that spark in our solar system is sun. So Surya Bhagavan has a very significant role. In all the, even Shaivite, they call them Shiva Surya. In Vaishnavite, they call them Surya Narayana. The reason is that has most effect on us. And then if you go to tradition, Mesopotamians, Egyptians, even Romans, they all had sun as an important aspect of it. The heliocentric world those days. They thought Earth was the center. Earth was not. But sun was very important. Sun worship is very, very important. And again, don't look at sun, because some siddhas will teach you look at sun and meditate. Don't do that, because physically it's harmful to look at sun directly. Early morning sun maybe for a few minutes, but you look at sun in the third eye, with the mind's eye. It cannot harm you. But look at sun directly. Don't do that if you can help it, because there's no need for that. It's a nuclear furnace, but you want the consciousness of sun, that you perceive it through your mind's eye. So you can do sun worship is very important. The mantra energizes. And that mantra was given by Agastya Maharishi to Rama. And Rama was almost giving up. He cannot fight Rama. Rama is a great soul. Rama is a mighty soul, wise soul, pure soul, but he became arrogant and he went in the wrong way. So he said, I cannot do it. And then Agastya Maharishi comes and says, no, you know Surya Narayana. He will give you the energy. So Rama was an avatar, but still an avatar. So he chanted that Aditya Hirudaya. That is the mantra we chanted today. Aditya Hirudaya Narayana mantra. Beautiful mantra. We'll send email on that mantra. So in time of trouble, illness, despondency, desperation, you invoke Surya Bhagavan with that mantra. And that's what Ram Bhagavan did. And then he defeated Ram. So it's a very, very meaningful mantra. And that's the reason why we used it today. And we gave all the reverence to Surya Bhagavan. On Wednesday, coming Wednesday, is the correct date to do, but people cannot come. So we did it today, but we are going to do Abhishekam, special Abhishekam and a Kavacha to Surya Bhagavan. Again, why it's so meaningful? What is there to put a Kavacha? No, it is meaningful. Two reasons. Number one, when you put a Kavacha and show reverence to that deity, you know more about the deity, otherwise you won't put a Kavacha. Kavacha meaning that you symbolically put a shield. What you want is a shield for you from that deity. So when I put Kavacha for Surya, I'm asking Surya, please protect me, shield me. But symbolically, we put the Kavacha so that all of you can come and appeal to Surya. So it's very important to have a Kavacha. So we'll have a gold Kavacha on that day, on Wednesday, and we'll do Abhishekam for Surya, special Abhishekam. So participate in that. We do it in the morning because certain time is auspicious. It happens in the morning. So I will cancel my patients and come that day because I want to receive it that day. So Wednesday morning at I believe 10 o'clock. I think, 10 o'clock? 10:30. So if you can, please attend that function. Again, as I said, it's the right day, even though it's not a convenient day for us. So we did one today, but Wednesday morning we will do it. So we'll do Abhishekam, we'll give Kavacha, so you come and ask Surya Bhagavan to give you all the energy you need and put a shield around you from the Asuras. That is the purpose. So we install Kavacha for Saturn, Sunny. Ultimately, we'll have Kavacha for all the planets. Right now, we have Kavachas for Surya Bhagavan and Saniswara. And those are the very important. The Saniswara, you go for 2.5 years. It's going to stay in one place. Good or bad, it's a long period. If it's good, you're very lucky. If it's bad, inauspicious location, the disharmony between you and Saturn, you're going to go through for 2.5 years. That's why they say 8th of Saturn, Ashtamat Sani, Janma Shani, 7.5 years Sani, because it's a long period, it's going to stuck in the planet. So we have a Kavacha for Saturn. Now again, what's the explanation? Why should that help? The planet sitting there hurting you? It doesn't make any sense. It does. Because we all descendants from the planets. Because 8 billion years ago, 9 billion years ago, there's only one gaseous mass. Sun did not form. And Sun formed 8 billion years ago. It certified and it captured other gaseous masses, certified. It's certified about 4.5 billion, 5 billion years. So each planet solidified much later. So sun captured them, the gravity is the biggest. So it got the gravitational pull. So all the planets form. So the point I'm trying to make is we're all one gaseous mass. So we came from that. So naturally, your intrinsic, internal Saturn, we have the imprint will be in us. And that imprint becomes disharmonious. Say, so you come, you invoke Saturn, you try to harmonize it, and if you have a place which is holy, which is energized by Divine Mother, and you do the right thing, right mantra, and right emotional attachment to that planet, you'll harmonize it more so than number one. Number two, it will give you the wisdom to bear. Suppose same punishment I am given and he is given. I may accept it much better if I have the wisdom to know what is happening. I will say, okay, this is going to end in 2 years, 2.5 years. And those who don't know all this, they go through a suffering. It will be more intense. So the perception also may be less. So mother gave me one day when I was meditating, she said, all your life is determined. It's like a card game. You play a card, I deal a card. And the card is your card. And that is dealt when you're born. So why go through all this? The card is dealt to you. You cannot change it. There is a free will component, about 5%. You can change it by your intense meditation, wisdom, whatever. But majority of it, 95% is fixed. So the comparison she's saying is, I have dealt the card to you. That can't be changed. The card is dealt at the time of birth. How you play the card determines your life. Because I may have the same card as you, but she has taught me how to use that card. That makes a big difference. I'll play it different than you. And that game, that wisdom comes from Master Saraswati. How to play the card. It's a beautiful concept. Card is dealt. And how you play it, Mother will teach you. And if you don't have the grace, then you go through whatever the card you see, you play it and lose, whatever. But I will play the card well because I have the wisdom. All these teachings, all the things we discussed, and Mother's grace, ultimately it's grace. If she hasn't blessed you, graced you, won't be here. I keep on saying it, trust me, I won't be here either. Ultimately it goes to faith, Shraddha, and the divine grace. That's why this Arul means the grace is very important. And you would have earned it. Nothing is given to you. But you earned it in the past lives, not in this life. You would have earned it in many lives. And the fruition will be in this life. And you come, you'll get Master Saraswati's grace and Ganesha's grace. Today is Chaturthi, very auspicious for Ganesha. So all this is determined by you in the past, which you won't know. But the result will be the fruition will happen now. Padarajan, are we ready? Thank you.